Hi, welcome to the Honey Pot. My name is Brittany, and we have a very special guest today. His name is Anson Seabra. So I guess we can get started. I guess could you tell our readers a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Anson. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I've been playing the piano for a long time since I was pretty young. Always been a musician. Play the saxophone and guitar. Went to school to be a computer scientist, but the universe had other plans, so I ended up making songs, posting them on the internet, and here we are now, a lot of streams later. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, so good segue. You said you used to be
Thank
an
you.
engineer and you recently left the field to release your own music. What was that decision process like, and what kind of advice would you give to new artists who might be in the same spot that you are?
Yeah, so it wasn't so recent actually. It was like 3 years ago
Oh.
almost, but Uh, I kind of got it was kind of like my hand was forced in a way. Like I just was really going through a tough time at work and just wasn't performing in the way that I wanted to. And honestly, it was like a lot of it had to do with my heart just wasn't in the work I was doing at all. And it was very hard for me. I think I'm blessed in a way to not be able to like do something I don't want to do. Like which
Mhm.
sounds like a little bit privileged, but like I just didn't want to
Mhm.
my heart wasn't in it. And so my backup plan was just to make songs. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was on the East Coast and I moved back in with my parents and I didn't want to get a real job again. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to post songs on the internet and like, even if I can make like just a little bit of money to like pay for my groceries, like I wasn't even trying to move out of my parents' house. I was just like trying to make enough money to like pay for my own
Mhm.
needs. I did it. But the advice I would give to whoever is in a similar position is you have to listen to your heart. You have to. It's not even a choice. Like the pain, the you have one life and you came to the earth to do one thing, and so you shouldn't squander your life doing something that you think is what you're supposed to do, but really you're supposed to do something else because I really believe that we all have something that we're supposed to do here, and you have to be willing to take the leap and find out what that thing is.
Yeah, I really love that. I've been in that spot as well, so I feel for you.
Yeah,
And it's very hard to kind of just switch career paths because you're like, well, I kind of wasted my time, but at the same time, no, it kind of got you to the path that you're on right now.
yeah, no such thing.
So I also read that you're classically trained on multiple instruments. Which instrument is your favorite and why?
Piano. I think piano is my
Yeah.
favorite instrument. I do really like playing the saxophone. I mean, there's pros and cons. Like, I really love jazz, and I think playing in a jazz band is like the most transcendent experience you can ever have. It's so magical and amazing. Uh, but there's something about the way that a piano sort of requires your whole being to sort of like pull the sound out of it. It's just amazing to emote in that way, to be able to get to a level of musicianship where you don't have to think at all and where you could just sort of push into the music with your soul. And that's so beautiful and amazing. And there's no, I mean, any proficient musician can relate to that feeling. But I think with the piano, you are, you know, harmonically, you can get so much out of it because you have, all 10 of your fingers and you can do chords in one hand and melodies in the other, and you can really create a full musical experience that you can't always create on other instruments by yourself. And so, yeah, I would say the piano is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I personally like the piano. I wish I could play the piano. I've always wanted to, but I
You
think piano ballads are just beautiful. I think they're one of the most beautiful, like, songs and all that kind of stuff. Like
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. I mean, there's a reason that the piano is like one of the oldest
Mhm.
instruments. It's because it gets the job done.
Yeah, right. So when you released Walked Through Hell, it went viral on TikTok. Were you prepared for the viral fame, or did it kind of catch you off guard?
Well, at that point, I mean, I had already amassed quite a few
Mhm,
followers. So like my viral fame, like had sort of already, I was sort of used to like having
mhm,
stuff sort of blow up. I mean, I've had quite a few videos like do really well on TikTok.
mhm,
So it wasn't anything like I had a song called Welcome to Wonderland like back last year
mhm,
that like, went like really viral on TikTok, and that was like probably actually a little more viral than Walk Through Hell. So I was
mhm,
sort of already tested the waters in terms of
mhm,
virality. But yeah, it's always crazy to like it's always weird to like write something and then just sort of like put it out there and just
mhm.
like and then it's like just especially for me just like seeing people like so many people react to it. It's still it's great every time. Like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I guess still on that kind of topic,
Yeah.
do you think TikTok has helped you find your community? And then what would you tell other musicians who are kind of looking to use the app to kind of
Mhm.
help their songs blow up or show the world what they can do?
Yeah. Well, TikTok's definitely been a big part of my success. I think I'm lucky because I had already built a following before I got on TikTok. And so when
Mhm,
I did get on TikTok, I had like a sort of initial group of supporters that helped
mhm,
push my content even further. But TikTok is definitely, I mean, there's like 500 million people that use the
mhm.
app, and it's like, there's an entire market of people just looking for new music to find. So it's been really great in that way. And it's just such sweet comments. I mean, like I never, my the comments on my videos are just so sweet. It's just only just beautiful, kind people. It's amazing, really amazing. So it's been great for that. Um, in terms of like advice to other musicians, I'd just say you have to be yourself, and don't be afraid to like post videos. Like I still get nervous about posting videos, like because I'm like worried they're gonna flop or whatever. But I think everyone on the app sort of feels that way, and it's just part of like using the app. It's a little frustrating because like you kind of wish that like you could really detach yourself from but it's like a game, it's kind of like the lottery. Every time you post a video, it's like, oh, will this one get big? I don't know. So you kind of have to sort of ebb and flow with the algorithm and like not get too caught in the numbers, but just be yourself, post work that you're proud of, and try and do something that people aren't doing, and also make sure the lighting in your video is good. It's very important that you have good lighting, and the framing in your video is also important. So try not to have too much going on in the background, and you'd be surprised like just what having a
Mhm.
well lit video can do for your page. It's really crazy.
Oh, definitely. I think it kind of shows the difference between like an amateur and a professional is when you have better lighting
Yeah,
because you're
yeah,
thinking more about it.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think you get better lighting for this actually. I'm just looking at my image like, dang, I should have lit myself a little better. But
it's
sorry
okay.
if I'm dark to anyone.
So kind of going back to Walked Through Hell, it was featured on an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and kind of as like a huge fan of the show, what was your reaction to finding out that they wanted to use your song?
It was crazy. I mean, I was like, I think I stood up in my chair and screamed a very loud swear word or something. It's that was actually the first sync we got. Like a sync is when your song is,
Mhm,
on TV or used in an ad or something. And we have been trying to get a sync for a very long time, and my team at Sony is really
mhm.
great. And so when we finally it's such a big sync, like to be the first one, like Grey's Anatomy is such an
Yeah.
iconic show. Like, I would have been happy with like like a Cheerio. Well, not I was gonna say Cheerios commercial, but that's like still a really big deal. I would have been happy with like a local, like I don't know. I would have been happy with anything, but
Mhm.
Grey's Anatomy's like top of the food chain. So I was super stoked. It was really amazing.
Yeah. So kind of diverting from just the single Walk Through Hell, your
Yeah,
debut album, Songs I Wrote in My Bedroom, is exactly what the title says.
yeah.
When you were writing these songs, had you ever imagined releasing them? And I'm not really sure on the time frame, but did you write them before you left the engineering industry, or did you? kind of
So
come after?
so some of them I actually did write while I was a software engineer. Like I have a song called That's Us that I wrote sort of at the beginning of that period. Um, Actually, a few of them actually were written when I was still on the East Coast working as an engineer. And yeah, but I never really thought they would get as big as they did. Like that EP has like 400 million streams or something, like something
Mhm.
really crazy. And like I never ever ever thought that any of those songs would do as well as they did, and to see the reaction has been really insane. But I get, yeah, I mean, I was putting them on SoundCloud. I never thought I
Mhm.
would like sort of make like an official thing about it, you
Mhm.
know? But then it just felt right.
Yeah, it's a very good album, by the way. I hadn't known about you before, and so I kind of like looked up and I was
Yeah,
listening to the music, and it is really, really good music. And I really like that the
thank you. Thank
title
you.
is Songs I Wrote in My Bedroom because it's very like on the nose of it, but
Yeah,
it's very, very good.
yeah. I thought about whatever my next project, I thought about just naming it like More Songs I Wrote in My Bedroom. And then like, and the next one would just be called Even More Songs I Wrote in My Bedroom. Because I like, I don't know, listen.
Why not? And then also you could even go Songs I
Why
Wrote
not?
in Quarantine. 'Cause
There you
So I read that you recently signed with Virgin Music.
go.
What was the process like for you when you got to sign with them?
Well, we had just released the EP slash album on our own, my management and I, and we just knew that we had something really special, but we also knew that we could take it a lot further if we had like a proper team. So we, I didn't really want to sign with a major label yet because I felt that I didn't need to, because we already had a fan base and quite a bit of distributive power. So we ended up looking at just distributors, not just distributors, distributors, more to sort of fill the role of a label without like taking some of the overhead that a label would require. And we talked to a few, and I think Caroline, formerly Caroline, was the name of Virgin Music now. Just really stood out as like the team that was gonna get the job done. Like just
Mhm.
like um, I just really resonated with a lot of their team members. So yeah, it was fun. It was a pretty seamless process, honestly, and we're really happy to be working with them, and they've done an amazing job so far. So
Yeah, I haven't, I thought it was really exciting that you had released like your EP and then you were able to find like a smaller company to work for because I think a lot of times it's when you sign with a bigger company, you kind of feel like you're in a void. But when you're with a
yeah,
smaller company, they can kind of focus on what you actually want your
yeah,
projects to be.
yeah. I think not to like knock major labels. I have a lot of friends that are at major labels, and they do a really good job. I think just for where I was
Mhm,
then, the major play didn't really quite make sense at the time, and Virgin was best in class anyways, and could do
mhm,
pretty much everything that a major could do. So, but yeah, you're right. There's a risk when you sign with a major label that you sort of just become a face in the crowd, and I'm, you know, that's not the case at Virgin at the
mhm.
moment. That's
Yeah.
really
Okay. So It's Raining, It's Pouring is a different version of a nursery rhyme that we all grew up with. What was the writing process like for the single?
yeah. So, well, it's like you said, it's a nursery rhyme, and I have this thing where I sort of like to take um, familiar concepts or sort of motifs and work them into songs because it's a lot easier to capture someone's attention with something they already are familiar with than to just try and do it on your own. I mean, certainly you can do
Mhm,
it, but it always helps to have sort of just a little spice in there that they already are familiar with. So I just thought it'd be interesting to take that melody and the lyric and just flip it around a little.
mhm,
So obviously, like it's stormy in my eyes, meaning it's raining,
mhm,
which I think is like kind of a cool concept. And yeah, I was just like sort of fumbling around on the guitar in my parents' basement like one night, like really late, and just like came up with that, and then like posted it on TikTok. And TikTok is, of course, the
Mhm.
magic uh, juice we all worship. We,
Mhm.
we don't worship juice. I guess we sip juice, but uh, it went super viral on TikTok. Super viral. That sounds really not very modest. It did well on TikTok, so we decided to put the song out.
So, when you write your songs, do you usually kind of start with like a concept that you want to write about, or do you kind of have like a tune that kind of came to your mind and you're like, okay, let's
Yeah,
write to this tune, or
yeah. It's kind of both. Honestly, it depends. Like I've done it both ways. Like I think, well, I shouldn't even say it. A lot of times I'll start with a concept because if you can have the best like lyrics or the best like melody and chords in the world, but if you can't find lyrics to put over them that actually like hit hard, it doesn't matter. Like because at the end of the day, a song is still a story, and you have to tell a story. So I would prefer to start with a concept that's intriguing, uh, and then work around there because I'm pretty confident in my ability to get some sort of melody that's interesting at least. Like I've just been doing this long enough to where that's just part of a job as a songwriter. Like you just take some words like what if it sound like this like and you just like keep sort of like coming up with melodies and stuff. But I've done it either way. Um, like my song "That's Us," which is on the EP, the last songs I wrote in my bedroom. That song I started with a melody. A lot of my earlier stuff, actually, I started with the melody, but now I'm really just sort of gravitating more towards concept stuff because I think just a good concept is probably well, I shouldn't say the most because it's all important, but it's a very important part of a good song is that sort of aha moment that really gets you when you're listening.
Yeah, once you start writing your music, do you usually are you thinking about like putting together an album, or do you kind of just write and then see kind of if there's a common ground in between the songs to kind of fit
Yeah,
them together?
that's definitely probably the second one. Um, I'm sure in the future there will be times when I'll be like, okay, it's time to sit down. It's time to make an album. But
Mhm.
right now, I'm really sort of more in the headspace of just like trying to just write songs, and
Mhm.
then if they feel like, because honestly, like the songs are still coming out of my life, and they're still a
Mhm.
product of the time I'm living in. So even if they don't like, they're not intentionally cohesive, they're still gonna sound cohesive
Mhm.
based on like my circumstances and like what mood and influences I'm listening to, and like in this time period, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. I find it fascinating the songwriting process just because I'm not a songwriter myself. I'm a writer,
Yeah,
like on I write
yeah.
about songwriters. So it's
It's
just
similar. You'd be surprised.
yeah, it's just that the whole concept of because I know some artists they prefer going in with the concept in mind, and then some
Yeah.
of them are like, no, I heard this beat, like we got to write about it, and then they're trying
Yeah.
to figure out, hey, what's going on in my life or what's going on in your life, and let's write about it.
Yeah. I find that you don't usually it 90% of my sessions I have a concept going in like
Hmm.
it's kind of a waste of time for me like to go into a room and just like try and come up with something because that's
Hmm.
going to take like an hour and a half and like I have like a
Hmm.
long list on my phone anyways of ideas
Hmm.
I'm always keeping track of. So to me, I prefer much. But sometimes it is spontaneous, and
Hmm.
sometimes like someone's playing a beat or something, and then you're just like, oh, what if it's like I don't know,
Hmm.
you shine like the sun or something like some corny thing or something. I don't know.
Okay. So, I watched the music video for It's Raining, It's Pouring, and I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
How involved were you with the treatment of the music video?
Pretty involved. The if I recall, the original concept was pretty much my idea, and but we worked with a very talented director. Her name's Jocelyn, who helped us sort of bring it to life all the way and give it like a 70s weatherman vibe and like yeah, it was a lot of fun. I always like shooting videos because like I did speech and debate in high school, and so I'm like a bit of an actor, just a bit,
Mhm.
and so it's always fun to sort of get to do like that. Like actually when I was young, I wanted to be an actor.
Mhm.
So it's fun to get to act in music videos and like sort of just like live out that fantasy just even for a moment.
Right, right. And that was actually my next question. So Jocelyn Cooper directed the music video.
Yeah.
How important was it for you to find a director that was able to make your song come alive? And kind of what was your process like finding that person?
Oh, it's always important. I mean, like you know, you're sort of rolling the dice. At least because I'm still so new to this, we haven't shot that many videos. So like,
Mhm.
sometimes you can work with a director who doesn't quite deliver the product you want, and it's just frustrating. But Jocelyn obviously got the job done, and um, yeah, it's just sort of a process of like. Luckily, my manager has a lot of contacts, and so he's able to sort of put out feelers to like who might be a good fit, and we sort of get back like. Um, different treatments from the directors, and we kind of see which one we've liked. But I've been lucky to work with like a bunch of really talented, like, to be honest, like whoever I work with is probably going to be great. Like I'm not that picky, like as long as
Mhm.
have a good camera, and like
Mhm.
uh they're all very talented, the people I work with, so
Mhm.
I try not to complain.
So going to kind of taking off from like the music video part, you were featured on People's Magazine's Artist to Watch list earlier this year.
Yeah.
Kind of where were you when you found out that you were on the list? And then what was kind of running through your head and how did you feel?
I think I was back in Missouri, but it was really crazy. Like I'm still super new to like that stuff.
Mhm.
Like I just feel I think it's better now that I'm here in LA. I think that's
Mhm.
why I moved to LA, like to feel like more like I made it really, but like it's just strange, to be like in your hometown, like just like doing your thing and like just being like, "Oh, by the way, like I'm in People magazine." Like
Mhm.
it's weird. I think I was staying in like a an Airbnb in Missouri for a while, and so I think I was there. And yeah, it was crazy. I was. It's like my default response to everything. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, but it's true. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, I didn't know what to say. And then I think the actual article came out a couple weeks ago, and
Mhm.
obviously, you know, it's crazy.
I mean, it's definitely a huge accomplishment because People Magazine is massive. So having your name on a list is
Yeah.
just and being kind of so new or not really new, but like kind of on the rise, like that's I think
Yeah,
that's really really cool.
it is really cool. It's you know, I've been at it for so long. It's nice to finally see like
Hmm.
because I've been doing this for like almost 6 years, and so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it took 6 years to get here. Like, it feels good. I
Yeah.
can't complain.
And it's all just begun.
Hopefully.
Yep. So is kind of going back to like your music career, is there anything that you dream about creating, or is there someone that you dream about collaborating with that will kind of be like, this is the moment I've kind of made it because
Uh-huh.
I've worked with you or I've done this project?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think if I play the Grammys, then I'll have made it. I mean, but that's so obvious. Like I feel like everyone says that, but like, um, Fun. My favorite band is Fun, and I would love to collaborate with Nate Roos, the vocalist from Fun. If that happens, I'll die and go to heaven. Charlie Puth is a big influence of mine as well, and I would love to collaborate with him. Um, yeah, I mean, but it's what's crazy is like I've already gotten to work with a lot of my idols on the writing side, and like it's been really crazy
Mhm.
to see that stuff sort of come to life.
Yeah. I think I think I could see you working with either of those people because I think your voices kind of
Like,
match and your styles match because I kind of got those vibes. So I think those could be a
yeah,
really we'll just have to hit them up. Just be like, all right, hey, you want to work
yeah,
together?
it's that easy. Yeah, just hit them up. Yeah.
Yeah. So your next single magazines is due out on May 12th. What can you tell us about the song?
Oh gosh, this is the first interview I've even talked about it at all. It's probably, to be honest, it's like my favorite song I've ever written. Like, I'm not
Oh,
even lying. Like, that sounds like hyperbole, but like, it's a really special song, and it's about living in a world where the standard is, what's on magazines, and like,
mhm,
especially I think for guys and girls, but especially for girls, I think it's like so um what's the word I'm looking for? They're just held to such a high standard in
mhm,
terms of what they should look like, and it's so unachievable because it's, completely fabricated basically.
mhm,
Um, and so the song is kind of about that, but more broadly, it's just about how reality is different than the picture perfect world that the media and society would like you to believe is what you should live in. So yeah, it's a really great song. It
mhm.
probably my favorite that I've put out so far, to be honest. So I'm really excited for the fans to hear it.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm really excited now that you told me what it's about because I
Yeah,
that topic is very important to me, and I try to
yeah.
kind of talk to everyone I know about it because people, it's like said but unsaid. Like,
It's
but
mostly
you,
I think, yeah.
yeah, it's like you don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, no, it's a real thing. Like,
Yeah, it's I mean the worst part is that, well, I could talk your face off about this, but we won't go into it. I'll just give a sermon and it will not be good.
okay. So we can move on from the topic if you want
Yeah, yeah.
to. So the last question, is there anything else you would like for us to know or to tell new fans or listeners of your music?
I would say if whoever's watching this or listening, I would say you're doing great. Wherever you are, keep going. You're doing amazing. Because I wish someone had told me that like 3 years ago and just sort of held my hand. But now I'm doing it for you. Like,
Mhm.
even if you think you're not, even if you think you're in a really rough spot, you should commend yourself because it's a very difficult time on the planet. It's very hard being a human. So I just want to say you're doing great. Even if you don't think you're doing great, you're going to get through it. You can do it. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the end of the interview. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and I can't wait for this
Yeah.
interview to come
Thank
out.
you. Absolutely. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. It was so
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
Take care.
Bye.
See you.